interested to hear the perspective of the business owners that are on the panel, and maybe I can start with Brent. You have a really interesting portfolio, as I'm understanding, a writer, you're on the county board, you also have a farming background, is that right?
I actually live in the house my great-grandparents built.
Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about how this is going to affect the way that
Last fall I was at an Association for Minnesota Counties meeting, and this issue, a policy meeting, and this issue came up. And a guy stood up and said, "So, you all want better internet access and you want me to pay for it?" And there was a spirited discussion after that. So spirited that I actually didn't get a chance to interject anything. Although I wanted. But what I would have said was, are the taxpayers and voters of Minnesota better off now because farms have electricity and telephone? You know, of course they are. And what we're doing here today is just a continuation of that. In fact, Minnesota's always been a leader in that. In 1923, the University of Minnesota partnered with Northern States Power, which later became Xcel Energy, and ran electricity to 9 farms outside Redwood. And that experiment was used as the basis for the Rural Electrification Act in the 30s. So we're working off a grand tradition here. And broadband access now is just the same as electrification in the 30s and just the same as telephone in the 50s. Now, slow internet is just a profound barrier. I mean, I'm incredibly fortunate because I'm in Federated. It's the little slice of Big Stone County that Federated has already done. But I have friends and colleagues, they run $1 million businesses, and they can't check their bank statements without getting timed out. They can't file their taxes online. They can't contribute to webinars. There's just all sorts of things that they can't do just because they don't have this one simple little thing. Now we're in a time when the proper role of government is being really pretty hotly debated. If you look at our history, 3 things that would be considered government giveaways would be the Homestead Act, the Marshall Plan, and the GI Bill, which were incredibly expensive programs, but together they transformed not only our country, but the world. There's always a role for the government in the maintenance and improvement of infrastructure. And high-speed internet is becoming as important and, vastly less expensive as roads. Now my town has 430 people in it, okay? Every person who leaves our area because of a lack of opportunity, it's just a tragedy. And when they arrive in an urban area, they're just another car on roads that are already too crowded, and there's someone elbowing down a street that already has too many people on it. It is in everyone's best interest to help rural Minnesota prosper. I am a writer. I could live any place where I can plug in my laptop. I choose to live where I live because I have good internet access. I mean, I can't do it without it. But my great-grandparents, their move to America was made possible because of the Homestead Act. My grandparents helped in the rural electrification movement. My parents had their lives transformed when they got telephones. Now, as an elected official, I'm just terrified at the thought of committing so much of other people's money to a project like this. But I just think it's time that my generation anteed up and help move things along, help secure the future for the generations that are coming after.